Okay, I'm back on now. My computer for some reason is not working. So I'm checking to see if you guys can get on. Hopefully you can now. Hey, can you guys see me now? I'm on the Tumblers for Beginners and Beyond group. Hopefully everything is good. Hi. Can you guys message me and let me know you're on? And that you can hear me and everything's working. That way I can get started. Hey guys. When somebody comments and let me know that you can hear me, then I can start. Otherwise, I don't know if you can hear me or not. I don't want to be talking when nobody can hear. Lovely technology. My computer keeps, I'm outside, so my computer keeps disconnecting from the internet for some reason. So I'm going to use my phone. So, can you guys hear me? Let me know. Oh, hello, hello. Okay, there we go. Now I can see comments. Awesome. So for those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Nikki. I've been doing tumblers for about a year now. Various different kinds. But this one is going to be a 3D one. I have been dabbling with 3D actually for about a month now. I've been doing crafts forever. Like, I was trying to determine that. I think I'm 33 now, so probably, thanks Jody, probably the last, since I was like, I don't know, probably like 12 plus years, maybe 15 years. But I figured out from experimenting that I love 3D tumblers. I saw someone else on another group post a 3D tumbler and I was like, I have to do that. And I loved it so much, now I want to teach you guys how to do it. Because it is a blast and it is very addicting. So, I'm gonna start by telling you the stuff I use. So I'm gonna be doing this cup. It's gonna be a fall cup. I kind of like crazy, if you can't tell from this. This one is very pretty, but I like different colors. I don't like your traditional, even with my tumblers that I do that weren't 3D, my customers always come to me for very unique things because I don't want to do the same thing everybody else does. So I just did hodgepodge of glitters, pretty fall glitters. I actually use Andetta glitters. I'm a moderator in that group. And we have lots and lots of fun colors. This one's probably one of my favorites, the one that makes it change. The shifting glitters. But then besides that, I use, for my project, I use Epoxy Clay. Just like epoxy, use A and B. Now, I got this off Amazon, and it looks It came in a pound. It was kind of expensive, and I thought it was going to be a whole lot more. And when it came in for my first project, I did a monster, oh, I didn't even bring that one out here. Harry Potter monster tumbler. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to use the whole thing on this. And I didn't. You actually barely use any, even though it looks like, I mean, I've done this on multiple, including, which I'll show you guys how to color it later, but including my Pocahontas tumbler that I'm in the process of working on. So it seems like a lot of clay for the tumblers, but it really only takes a little amount. So just like epoxy with A and B, and I'll post links later where you can get these and also the tools that I use. It is timed. So once you start, there's a couple tricks, but once you start, it's starting to essentially harden, because that's what happens. This stuff, it's air drying. In 24 hours, it's completely hard. So then you can paint it and such. So you don't have to work fast because you have a little bit of time. And some people wait until after the different stages to even start working. I start right away. It starts out kind of sticky, but I'll explain that in a minute here when I'm actually mixing it together. I also got a whole bag of different tools from Amazon. So what you're going to need is little tools like this. I did not bring the whole bag because I do not need it all right now. But there's like brushes, like metal brushes, all sorts to do the texture and the finer details. So these are the kinds of tools that I use to do everything that I do. These just happen to be my favorites. And then besides that, for painting, I'm going to tell you all, while people are jumping on, I'm telling you all my supplies and stuff. So I use these. These are alcohol ink markers. You can use acrylics to paint. I also, of course, paint brushes. And then I have, no joke, about 4 tins full of these. So, again, I get these, not all of them because I started before. I've had them a while, but I do get them from Vendetta Glitters. She sells them as well. So, just different colors. I'll be showing you how to color them on my Pocahontas one. I'm going to start coloring Grandmother Willow. So we'll do that later. Okay, so we are going to start. Now, just like epoxy, you take equal parts of both. It's different. Some people do have a reaction to epoxy clay, and some people suggest using gloves. I feel like the gloves get in my way because I like to touch and feel, and I don't have a bad reaction to epoxy. But if you're sensitive, use gloves, your PP. I'm outside, lots of ventilation. It doesn't smell like epoxy does. But what you do, because if you mix it, you have to use it or stick it in the freezer. And you can stick it in the freezer for 3 days, but it never is the same as the very first time you mix it. So you put a little ball like this, and you set it aside, and you do another ball with the other color. You'll notice, I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're 2 different colors. So I'm actually going to try, what I do when I'm looking at images, when I'm trying to figure out what I do, I search an image on the computer so I get an idea, and then I look at it and I adjust it to what I need. I am still learning. I have a lot to learn. There are people that have been sculpting for years and years, and it is amazing. So I am still a beginner when it comes to all of this. So like I said, I just put it in balls and I see if they're the same. This one actually has a little bit more, so I put it back, roll it back up, and then there we go. There's 2 similarly sized balls. So you mix it together, and you want to make sure that you mix it really, really well, because if you don't, it's not going to harden. It's a reaction just like the rest. Let me pull up my image really fast. That way I'm not messing with my computer while I'm trying to talk to you guys. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm looking, I don't see any questions. I see there are 19 of you on. Okay, so I'm gonna turn you around really fast. What I'm going to show you, just to get an idea, I'm doing a tree on this thing, so we'll see how that goes. I'm looking at these different trees, specifically ones that are more like this, but just for the details, I kind of like the twisty vine look, so I think it looks more realistic. So not all of these are exactly what I'm looking for, but that's okay. So mix, mix, mix. They are two different colors. Like I said, so when you mix, you can tell when they eventually get together all the way that it'll be one color. So, okay, somebody answer me. Can you guys still hear me, and am I still good? Nobody's talking. You guys are so quiet. The last time anybody talked was Jody. You can hear me, Pam? You have any questions so far? Okay, while they're answering, I am going to start. So what you do, you think you're going to need more, but you really only take a little bit. So since I'm doing a kind of a twisty vine, I'm going to roll it like this. And just roll it out to be very, very thin. Off of Amazon. At least that's where I got mine. It was $24 or $25 for this little thing, and then I found it on Warehouse Deals or whatever. So, and it has gone a long way. I didn't think it would, but it did. So see, on this one, I have that. And I am, for now, just going to go like this. It doesn't look like much yet because it's just the very first one. And eventually, when I figure out, I'm not going to put this on all the way because I want to intertwine them. You're welcome, Pam. So I'm going to take another one. They don't all have to be the same length. You are the artist. Do it until you like it. That is the neat thing about this. So, I just rolled that up. I kind of want it to be under the other one. And around. And if it breaks, like this one just did, that is okay. It is clay. Right now it is really in the sticky stage. So it's not as flexible. I don't mind because I like having more time to work. So see, I'm just kind of Doesn't look like much now. Hopefully eventually it'll look really cool. I'm gonna kind of do, yeah, you'll see. I probably won't get to all of it now just because that would make it really long. This is time consuming. Worth it, but time consuming. So, see, there's another one. I'm gonna kind of put that one down there too to look like roots and branches and up and over. See, it's already starting to look cool with the twisting and oh, no problem. I love doing stuff like this. Besides this part, I'll probably show you on the other side how to do something else where you put more detail in it. Not that I will keep it on my Tumbler because I'm kind of going for a leafy, tree-like fall look. But, so, oops. There goes another one. Gonna kind of go all the way out. And under. See, it's just kind of starting to take shape with different branch-like structures. I'm going to start adding some roots at the bottom so that it looks... Okay, so right there, I just added a piece onto that, and see, you can see where it attaches. But you can kind of just keep smoothing it just the littlest bit. And now it does it. It just looks like it was part of it in the first place. So, I'm just gonna keep adding bits and pieces to make this look like a tree with lots of texture to it. On some of these, since I can't quite pick them up, I'm gonna kind of, like that one, I didn't actually wrap around it, per se through it. I just kind of went over and under and made it look like it was wrapped around it. So, okay, I'm gonna show you guys something on this. Eventually I'll have this all done and you guys can stay on as long as you want. So this is where I add texture to each individual piece. I usually take this or these and I kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that. I just kind of go like this and pokes. And you can kind of dig into the clay and pop it up and then down. And it just kind of comes to life when you're adding. So now that root right there looks a lot more realistic than just a piece of clay. And the more you do it and play with it and then add color to it, it just really comes to life. Anyone have any questions about that so far? You're gonna see me doing the same thing a lot for a little bit. I gotta add all these on so I can get to the fun part. So far I have that. Feel free to ask anything. There's no stupid question. There's just the questions that you don't ever figure out the answers to because you don't ask. No, it's not. I don't know what polymer clay is, actually. I've only ever used this. It's Epoxy Clay. So it's A and B. And it's going to be a tree. So roots are down here. Yeah, and it'll go up. I'm just taking lots of pieces and intertwining them so it looks like lots of branches intertwined together. Just kind of a fall-esque look. So now on this one, for instance, I want it to look like it's under it, but I'm not going to pick this piece up to go under it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tool and I'm going to push it under like it's under there and kind of go like that and essentially make this one be the top piece. Oh, you're welcome. So see, now it looks like it's going under, and I'm going to finish it by putting this piece over like that and go up. Like it's kind of growing in and up. I think I'm going to do that again though. Whoops. So I'm going to push it down right there. So it essentially becomes part of that even though it wasn't originally like that. And you just kind of smooth it to make it look like one. So some people will use water for these. I do not as of yet. I'm sure I could. So now see, even though I put that piece on top right there, this is actually part of this piece. When you crease it on either side and then kind of form that into that piece, it just looks like it's part of the other one, even though it technically wasn't. So So what's everybody working on right now? You guys are quiet. Anybody out there? Okay, so I'm going to show you what I have so far. This is just the very base of it. Tip, when you have a project that you're working on, it may not look like much at first. This right here, I was asking people when I was doing this one what it looked like, and they were like, a banana, a moon, and it kind of did because it was just the tree part. Like cut off it there, so it was like shaped like that. Because I had just done the face and the tree, and then I added Pocahontas, and they were like, "Oh, it looks like Pocahontas," but not everybody saw it. So then I started adding the branches down here, and it'll be totally different when it's colored. And then I was like, "Oh, I want to do the raccoon," and I added Flint. And it's just lots of fun. And then I added the detail up here. And eventually, not in clay, I think I'll paint it. But I'll have, like, Grandmother Willow's, the rest of her branches coming down. It'll be really cool when it's done. So, don't be disappointed at first. Just keep messing with it. Feeling better than last night? Do you mean with... in my other group with my son, Kristen? If you're referencing my son, he looks terrible right now. He looks like somebody gave him a black eye from the bug bite. He got a bug bite right here, and he swelled up really bad. He literally looks like he was in a fight, and he's only 2. I'm like, nope. That's what happens when bugs get a hold of him. I had jumped on a live and I had to jump off because my son was getting eaten up. He had like all these welts on his arms and his, yeah. Our bugs are terrible. So. At this point, I'm just kind of winging because trees are all different. Every single branch, there's no tree alike. Whether it's leaves out of place or... So it's kind of nice that way. I'm just adding little itty bitty pieces to it. To where it looks like crazy branches are coming off. So... After I get enough of this done, I will show you how to paint, and then I will come back to it. Because some more people jumped on. So, like I said before, it's pretty easy to work with this. You just kind of keep moving it around. In the case of a tree, you kind of make it look crazy. It's a fall tree, bare of all its all of its leaves. Getting ready for winter to take its long nap. Down at the bottom, I have the root system. Anybody have any questions? The nice thing about art, You keep going, do what's in your head, and every artwork is up to your own imagination. It doesn't have to line up for what other people think. Tumbler makers, artists, everybody has their own idea of how things should be or shouldn't be. And you know what? That's okay, because they're the ones doing their artwork. So, just like you'll notice with your different tumblers, what sells in one area with one group of people might not sell at all in another area. So because there are so many tumbler makers, I don't offer the, I mean, I do, if somebody asks me for a traditional tumbler, I do it. But I try to post different ones that I'm not seeing everywhere. That way I stand out, because if you're the same as everybody else, unless you have better prices, which isn't fair to you as an artist, then what's going to make people come to you? Anybody else have any questions? And any of my artwork, I do a commission. I do, anybody that wants to buy this one can. I will not make another one exactly like this. They're all different. Just like my Pocahontas one, I will not make another Pocahontas exactly like that. They are unique. Even on the ones that people ask me to do that are exactly like other ones, I tell them, yes, I can make that for you, but I'll do it better. Not that that's bragging. I try. I try to personalize it, do little tweaks that I know are gonna make the customers happy, that they're getting a totally custom product, because they are. Okay, so you see that starting to come to life? Look at that, all the different branches, and then the roots at the bottom. Looks really awesome. I cannot wait to add color to this. Okay, so I'm going to pause. I am going to start painting Grandmother Willow. That way you guys get an idea of what it's like to paint clay. Now I have lots and lots of paint brushes. So I'm going to start with a brown layer because I like to add texture to it. And though Grandmother Willow has a lot of green in her, I'm going to, it's like a very light, it's Pebble. That's the one I'm going to start with. So, all I do for the starting part, you wait 24 hours to paint. You don't have to, but it does better. So I'm just going to start by going like that and painting. This is not going to be her color. I will sometimes use this, and then I will do acrylics over it. I'll add shimmer, like different inks that have shimmer. So this is very brown. I'm actually going to do it right onto it. She is not brown. She is more like a greenish blue. So all I do it, I'm getting a base color right now. This is kind of going to be the background color. Because I don't want to put blue on there and go like, whoa, she is really blue. So I'm going to paint her all one color and then go over it with others. Some people will, not on tumblers, but they'll airbrush this clay. I have an airbrush. I have not figured out how to use it. I just do everything by hand. I will show you something that I did. This one's kind of a fun one. It's actually for a cup swap, but not this group. So, see, I did a rainbow fish. Chicka chicka boom boom. Just something fun. And then the the very hungry caterpillar. Hungry caterpillar. Just to be different. And it's going to say a little saying that I came up with on it. And then epoxy and it will be done. So, those I did all different colors. No questions? No ideas? Anybody else do this out there? I am definitely open, not an expert. You guys are really quiet. Since I am just wanting to show you how I do this, I'm not going to paint the whole thing. I'm just going to paint some of Grandmother Willow. And then I'll go back to doing my fall tree. Sorry, all of this takes a long time, which is why tumblers like this are more expensive, because they do take time and it's all hand done. Okay, so now I'm gonna get a different color. A moss. I can find my moss. Sorry, like I said, I have 4 tins of inks. It depends on what you're doing. This is not paint, it's inks, so it's going to go into the sponge. I do inks on lots of things, a lot of things, and sometimes I'll use sponges for a different look. These have little cracks in them, so it would be harder, at least for me. You can do it. You are the artist. If you look at real artists, they all have their own unique way of doing things. So, I am not seeing my ink. You know what? That's good for the blue. I'm looking for my moss, which might actually be in this one. Sorry, guys. Oregano works. I have moss somewhere. I have 4 tins. One of them is somewhere else. There's envy. Oh, there it is. I just bought another tin so I could organize it better. Okay, so I'm going to do moss first and see how that goes. It's kind of a playing around kind of thing. You just keep working until you figure out what you're going to like. Okay, so I actually like that. It needs blue, of course. But see the bottom right there? I don't know if you guys can see that. It kind of looks brownish green. I really like that. And then of course the leaf or the branches will have more green. Okay, so when I say I have lots of paintbrushes, I actually just went out and got new ones, but I have all of these. Plus, I have a whole thing of just sponges and alcohol ink applicators, tons of stuff. Because I use all sorts of different things. And you can go to Walmart now and get those makeup sponges. Like, you can buy the expensive ones that are like $3 or $4 for one. Or you can go to the dollar store and get, again, $1, but for one. Or they now carry at Walmart a whole package for like, I think it's either $4.98 or $3.98. It's a whole package of them. And they are amazing. And I go through them a lot because when you ink a whole tumbler, I don't have any here. If you looked on my site, Tracerelli Creations, just means Three Sisters Creations. There's whole, like, inked in different colors and stuff. And I will sometimes just paint the whole thing with ink, like I've done a mountain scene and just different things. Hand drawing flowers, things like that. The sponges start getting like funky. So I learned I need lots of them. So I just went and bought 2 packages of those. This is looking really cool. Okay, so can you guys see the color texture on that? The difference? I don't know if you can see that. It looks like a greenish brown, and now I'm just gonna go over it and use a little bit of blue. It's not a ton of blue. So I used moss. The brown was the pebble. You don't want a really dark brown because she's really the greens and blues. But I wanted to give it kind of a brownish look under it. And I'm using Monsoon. We'll see if I like this one. If not, I have tons. I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of blue in there. Not a ton. Like I said, she's not really tons of blue. Yes, I like that. And that looks really cool. Yep. Okay, so I'm showing you that. Just kind of looks different. I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to go back to doing my tree. I am going to get a dark black and do the eyeballs. And then I'll have to let my paintbrush sit in alcohol. See, you just very carefully touch up her eyes and her mouth. And she comes to life. I will go through and add more green on that and get her to where I like her. So, okay, well, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, but you don't have to stay on. I might go ahead and let you go. That way you guys have your stuff to do. I will show you one more thing as I'm sitting here. I'm going to start texturing some of these roots. You just kind of use your tools. And I just kind of put lines into it. Make it look like fibers, since that's what roots are. Lots of little lines. You kind of want to make it look different than the top. Since the top are not roots, the top are bark. So on the bottom, I'm just going to do the lines. And on the top, I'm going to kind of poke into it pretty good and then smooth it and make it look more like all the different parts of a and you just keep playing with it until it's how you want it. So you see how the bottom there, see the roots? How they look kind of fibrous? And then the top is not done yet, but see, it's going to look totally different. Because they are two different parts of a tree, so you want it to look different. Just like on this one, these are leafy parts. So though it's a willow, it's kind of leafy, but then this and this right here is more like bark because it's bark. Okay, well, it's good to see everybody. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I will answer anytime. Again, I'm part of Vendetta Glitters. And I have my own group, Tracerelli Creation, not group, sorry, business website. It's not really a interactive kind of thing. It's Tracerelli Creations. You guys can ask questions, really small, just people want to hit me up. Or you can find me, anybody. Like I said, this will be for sale, any of my 3D cups, and I make them. So thanks for watching. Bye everybody. Have a good day.